There we go.
Yep, there she is.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes.
Yep.
Nice background. That's really
Thank you.
We can see you, Bombay Funkadelic.
Yeah, and the foreground's not bad either.
Kemcho, everybody. Happy.
Kemcho.
Come on.
That's the only Gujarati word I know, Kemcho.
Oh, okay.
But you'll
Actually,
hear
it's two words.
Okay. So
Wait, where
what
did
about the
from?
screens? Do they just automatically switch?
Yeah. Whoever's talking, that person will be on screen. Or you can go to view and do gallery if you want.
Oh my God, this is such a you know what I was going to say.
I also work in IT.
I can tell.
This is such a Kannan moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. Okay, I'll let it switch automatically. That would be good.
Hey, Payal. Payal. Hey, Payal. Payal. Payal.
सोचे
चल उठ जाने.
Mummy, did you know that Karishma Beauty Salon has 1.5 rating?
This is definitely not ours.
The owner was screaming at her husband on the phone during the entire haircut.
ये तो पक्का तेरा है.
I need an Indian face on my team.
You will not find a better Indian face than me.
Welcome to my channel, Payal Do All. Please like, comment and subscribe and press here. Press here.
ये हर वीडियो के बाद में तू प्रेस शेयर करती है, तेरे को शर्म नहीं आती है क्या?
Where are you going? Interview?
You think they're going to interview him? No, us. He's only 1 year old.
It's for kids less than 10 years.
Thank you for speaking to Bombay Funkadelic. I watched.
I'm just happy to be on anything that's called Bombay Funkadelic. Just makes me go.
I'm glad you can say it. A lot of people can't pronounce it. So
Really?
I'm glad you can say
Funkadelic?
Funkadelic.
I think they're not from India. The ones who can't pronounce it are not from India.
Yeah, we want
Unfortunately, the opposite.
Funkadelic is something we do every day.
I liked your sound effect. That worked. It's nice to see you all. Thank you for joining. I watched season 2, 5 episodes back to back. Binge watched last night, and I laughed very loud. I think my neighbors woke up. It was great. I really enjoyed it. So I want to hear, for anybody who hasn't seen season 1 of the show, can you please, one of you, whoever, tell me about the show and what it's about?
Go ahead, Omi.
Me? I was going to say, Milind is the last one who watched it.
Yeah, I watched it last. It's super funny. Oh, what was it about? Oh.
You have to describe it. Maybe you're the wrong guy. Maybe you're invasive to describe it.
You want to go for it's a show about Indians, immigrants, I guess, mostly they're all Indian immigrants living in New Jersey with strong Indian pride in Little India, but in America. So it's kind of all of that. You know?
And Arpit and Omi's going to have a baby, and they decide to call the baby Arpit. But then Ranvir's wife objects because Arpit was a boyfriend of hers when she was 6 years old, and he left her for her best friend apparently, and so they decide not to call the baby Arpit. But then Arpit comes back in season 2. And
that's a nice segue into your character.
Yeah, it is. It's there's 2 sisters and they marry two people, and then the family becomes extended and they all live together in New Jersey. It's similar to a modern family, but for a modern Indian family living outside of India.
Okay,
and not so modern.
Outside of India.
Not so modern family.
Not so modern Indian family. That's right.
जिस आदमी के पास में एक अच्छी लविंग फैमिली होती है, अच्छे एम्प्लॉइज होते हैं ना, वो दुनिया का सबसे लकी आदमी.
It is a very secure system. All the daily footage gets automatically uploaded to the cloud.
What if it starts raining from the cloud, eh? What happened to all my money? It go flying everywhere.
So, Omi, you've lived and worked outside of India. Do you think it's pretty authentic for that NRA experience?
Well, married to a Gujarati as part of a extended Gujarati family, it is very, very close to the real thing. I mean, there are some, exaggerations or hyperboles that happen throughout the show, but it's pretty close, to be honest. It's pretty ridiculous, the stuff that happens, even the the ironies that we show of how these people live and what they want, and how how that's different than how they behave. It's pretty great. And Indians in outside of India, they really sort of latch onto each other, especially if they live in these ethnic enclaves. So that is something that is very hard to show on television or in a visual piece. This show does that very well without making fun of them, sort of celebrating them and enjoying and bringing the audience in on that world. And it's really fun. And it's kind of funny because when I first started this show, I was like, is it going to relate to people in India? But it relates really well because they are having the same struggles as, hopefully, I'm assuming in some ways, as people in India who are trying to be, they're living their modern lives as well.
And you say modern, it reminded me of Modern Family, the American comedy. It's very much in that kind of ilk.
Yes,
that's a fair comparison?
Yes, that is a very fair comparison in terms of the different families and the switching, and then that warmness that show has. There's typically a warmness at the end in the conclusion as well. And, we're talking about issues, but we're sort of talking around them, and we're not really facing anything major. But it's really about the issues between the family members or the generational gap. That's really what it's about.
Well, the Patels are a crazy family. So Ranvir, can you tell me about Kalpesh? He's the head of the family. He's, to me, the most fun but annoying character. How would you describe Kalpesh?
More fun or more annoying?
More fun.
Okay,
more
thankfully.
You make me laugh a lot.
Yeah, well, Kalpesh Kalpesh is a first generation immigrant to the US, and so many lower middle class people from India who for better opportunities and migrate to the USA. And I think Kalpesh is caught between these two worlds, wanting to retain his own cultural identity in a foreign land, and while also make the foreign land his own, the foreign culture his own culture, and he's trying to adapt to that culture. Of course,
he's a shopkeeper. That's his role in this. He's a businessman, a shopkeeper, but
he also sells insurance. There you go. So I mean, he's pretty enterprising that way, like all Indians are once they go abroad. Mm-hmm. So when Indians, if you keep them in India, they are not very enterprising. But as soon as they go outside of India, they become very enterprising. So that's what, and he's dealing, with the chaos that comes with these cultural conflicts.
मैंने सुना है कि इस एडिटिंग में आप किसी भी आदमी का सिक्स पैक डाल सकते हैं, तो मेरा भी सिक्स पैक डाल दो ना।
एक्टिंग में किसी को ध्यान नहीं है, सबको फ्री में सिक्स पैक चाहिए।
अब किसी बात की कोई चिंता मत करो, वो आ भी गई छिपाड़ा को।
मम्मी सच्चे?
बाबा क्या तू वो डंडे पे जो आईपैड लगा उसको मम्मी बोल रही है क्या?
अगर तुमने इमिग्रेशन फॉर्म बराबर भरा होता तो आज मेरी मम्मी रोलर व्हील्स पे नहीं अपने खुद के पैरों पे चल के आती मेरे घर पे।
You want to put chickens in our backyard, Kanu?
Think of them as a pet.
So one tiny bit of chaos is when Milind's character enters the story. And I loved your reaction to his character. I loved your coping with him being around your wife. So Milind, tell us about your character and
what happened. Coping? I think he was coping very badly.
That's the comedy.
He was really jealous. No, it was fun. It was fun.
ड्रेस के भी लागे छे
बहुत सर
नो वंडर हम लेडीज लोग को फेसबुक पे ना सेल्फीज अपलोड करने पड़ते हैं
You're the most beautiful assistant I've ever had.
It's fun. Well, Arpit is, I think it's just the other guy, so as I mentioned earlier, we had a thing, Payal and I, when we were about 7 years old, and she hasn't forgotten that, and Arpit hasn't either, strangely. So I think it's just to bring in that little aspect of a forgotten love, and how the people around react to it. So it's quite funny. I haven't seen the second season. You have. So
I like the entry. You come in on a scooter.
On the scooter, yeah. I did. It was fun.
Cool. You're a cool dude in the season.
Yeah. I don't know why they cast me though. It was just great.
I was hoping you would tell us.
Why
Why did they cast? Why did you take the role?
Well, the show has a very big pull with married women in India, so maybe that has something to do.
Something to do.
Married women, really? Okay. Yeah, who knows? I think they were just being very, very creative and very imaginative and wondering what kind of a guy would Payal fall for and who exactly would make Kalpesh jealous.
Well, you're a dentist in this, and in 4 Shots, Please, you were a gynecologist. It seems like you're taking on different medical professions.
I look very professional, yes.
You look
and I've got a good bedside manner.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Milind, what is it with you always dealing with orifices? Huh?
That is true. Good description.
A bit of a borrower.
Ranvir, you're no stranger to web series. We've seen you in Secret Games, many other shows. And I'm just wondering, what's your take, all of you actually, on these streaming platforms and the way it has opened up the industry for actors?
I think it's a godsend, and not just for actors. I mean, for writers, technicians, even for the audience, because gives the audience so much a choice, gives them so much exposure to different kind of stories, different kind of genres, different kind of talent. And I think it's any way you look at it, I think these streaming platforms are a godsend.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, you know, because there's the pressure that is usually associated with creating something like a film, where you say, okay, if it doesn't do well in the first weekend or the second weekend, I mean, that's it, you don't get a second chance, or whatever it is, you know, you have to cast a star because you got to get the eyeballs. So when you're doing something for OTT where you can actually do, you know, another season and you can gauge the audience's response, then you can, you know, it's a totally different ball game whatsoever. Apart from the freedom that you have to actually tell different kinds of stories, I think that pressure that is not there of trying to prove something on the first day, that gives a lot of relief to people to actually experiment. You know, people, so even for actors, for producers, for directors, writers, for everybody to just say, okay, we can actually do something new. And if it doesn't work, we can maybe be a little conservative next time, because there is a next time. With a film, maybe there's no next time, you know?
Is there any level of worry in the industry right now about cinema, theatrical releases? Are just producers worried that it's been nearly a year and people haven't been to the cinema like they used to?
I'm sure they're worried, but I think it's just, you know, it's a phase of transition. I don't know whether theaters have the kind of business that they're going to have, which they had before COVID-19, you know, because now people have so much at home and on their phones, the kind of entertainment that you have at home and on the phone, it's just, you don't need to go to the cinema anymore unless the project really demands a big screen, you know, something like an IMAX or something like you have to have a 70 mm like battle scenes and stuff like that. Otherwise, you know, I think then you'll just have to make projects specifically for cinema. It'll become a totally different genre of entertainment. You can't just, like romantic comedies, you just watch them at home, I guess. You know, so people will have to get used to that, maybe more creative with that platform.
Sure. So Ranvir, I have a question for you. One of my favorite scenes was, I'm not sure which episode it is where you're trying to explain very uncomfortably the matter of the birds and the bees, about sexual awakening to your son, the young teenager. And I think you used Chole Bhature as a metaphor, which was great, fantastic writing. Can you explain how you kept a straight face filming that scene?
When you know they're going to keep you there till you get it right, you can do just about anything. So,
you're not leaving.
There are many comical scenes, but could you all maybe tell me which were the most fun or the most memorable filming?
Well, I had only one scene, which was extracting Kalpesh's teeth. That's the only scene I had.
Tooth, Milind, not teeth. Not we only want to be all of them.
Like What?
You weren't going to be all of them. We were the same dude.
We get a good view of them. That must have been very uncomfortable to wear that.
And very brave.
Call it brace thing.
And very brave, Jas. Because I thought a lot about doing that for camera.
You know who the dentist was? He was very brave. I could have taken out all the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say that my favorite scene was I don't know if you got to that episode. You haven't gotten to it.
I've gone up to 5 and I've had a quick view of some others.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we have a big sort of storyline, me and Vega Kinjal, which is we're gonna try to get our kid into this private daycare. You know, this like preschool, Ivy League, and sort of the hoops that we go through to try to get him into it, and then how we try to impress that teacher or the principal. It's quite hilarious, and it's something that a lot of maybe they do it in India, but here, you know, there's this sort of competition to get your child ahead of everyone else's child. Otherwise, they're not going to succeed in life. And they're only like 4 or 5 or something. I mean, like it's kind of insane that sort of chase. So showing that is really
that's pretty realistic. I think that's the case in many countries around.
Yeah. So it's just crazy, and getting to show that, you know, I also live that. So getting to show that was quite fun.
Great. So how do you go about promoting during this pandemic? Is it all Zoom interviews, virtual? Are you doing anything on the ground in India? Any of you?
Omi, are you in India?
I don't know where you are. Are you all in India right now, or Omi, you're
I'm on the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm just doing Zoom. I hope we're all just doing Zoom, and then
we're all doing Zoom. This is Zoom.
Maybe some Insta Live stuff at most, you know, but really just social. Yeah, everybody's at home for the most part in most of the places where this is being shown, and so like, you know, just hitting them where they are, which is very much virtual. You know.
Do any of you miss the actual press junkets, or is this a godsend? Do you actually think this is easier doing it from home?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's kind of interesting, you know, because of course you don't have to fly everywhere and dress up or do anything.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm wearing.
I'm not going to ask any of you to stand up so I can see what's below.
They're just shorts, you know. Oh boy, Ranvir. Yes, that's actually someone else's leg, not even his. But what we're saying, it's very nice to have that, and also there's just a casualness, you know, even with you know, like seeing your background, feeling like you. I think we all just
would you be able to do this?
Yeah,
that would look really weird live, you know. So
I was just wondering when Ranvir's screen went blank for a few minutes, what was happening? Where did he go?
Yeah.
Was that really somebody else's leg?
Yeah, that's another thing. You can do really sketchy stuff.
Yeah. Like, give it again.
I don't know what he was doing when it went black for a second, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He was but anyway, so it's really just nice to have that feeling, and there's sort of a warmness without. It almost kind of replicates the experience in some ways.
Actually, one crucial question I forgot to ask you is, I think you filmed this during the lockdown, is that correct? Last year, during the pandemic. So how was the filming process during that time? And you were in New Jersey, I'm guessing?
No. He's saying the filming is over, though. But
is the pandemic over?
I don't think we'd be lucky enough for the pandemic.
Is it safe to go out now? Because I've been here.
What?
I mean, I don't know. Ranvir probably does more, like he's just been shooting no matter, you know, all the time. But doing that was probably the first project.
I told you I'm brave.
First project that I did during the pandemic, and you know, creating the bubble. We tried to create a bubble in terms of people living, you know, with only the other people in the shoot, and you know, shooting around this time when there's a little bit of a crisis, where you sort of have to huddle with other people. It creates a little bit of an experience of, you know, you get closer than you probably would have if you were just shooting and visiting your friends and, you know, going vacation in the middle for 2-3 days. And because you're sort of committed to this thing and you're focused on this, and you have to sort of be more vigilant, even when you know, we had like rap parties every week. I don't know what those were.
Oh, well, you're
yeah, they definitely had parties every week. But, you know, everybody partied together and enjoyed together. And, you know, like.
With no masks.
Yes, somewhat. There were some people that.
You'll get in trouble.
But what I'm saying is they even did an award show at the end. Do you remember that? That was fantastic. Milind, you missed out on that. It was something that I've never seen that, like where we have like best, you know, person on the set that was really nice to everyone, and you know, there were awards given out for different categories, and everyone.
But they were just given to people who were present.
Yeah.
I should have won something.
Yes.
You have a virtual award.
I know. But
does the pandemic feature in the plot line in any episodes? Is it mentioned?
No,
we didn't want to do that.
We did that already. We did a pandemic 1.5 season. We did a season where we talked about that, and we were living in the pandemic, and we all shot within our own homes. We shot our own videos, and they edited together. They were just very shorts, but that allowed people, and that was very early on. We were the first sort of show to actually take that on, and I think that was quite refreshing for people because they saw a version of themselves, but, you know, without the fear and the danger, sort of the comedy of living in the pandemic. But then when we did season 2, we wanted to give people an escape from this life that we're living, so they could, you know, remember, or maybe nostalgically remember the old times when, you know, you walked around and masks didn't exist, you know, and you didn't have to wash your hands all the time.
Okay, well, thank you. I've been asked to wrap up. It's been great speaking to you all. I appreciate your time. Good luck with season 2.
Thank you, Jas.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to season 3.
I just want to say that your background, there's a mirror, and then there's a Ganesh in the mirror in the middle of it. That's solid background.
It's a reflection of my wall there.
That is really cool what you've done.
Thank you. It's unintentional, but
it looks intentional. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Lovely speaking to you all, and hope we're lockdown free soon. Bye.